welcome back to the channel, and welcome back finally for the first time this week to a live Celtic Q&A stream, the weekly Q&A streams where you guys are the topic of conversation. I take your questions, I give you my answers, we have a little recap of whatever is in the news. You know how they work by now, and if you haven't already, please may I urge you to drop down below, hit like and subscribe whether you're watching this live or if you're watching back later on in the evening in video form. It would be much appreciated because we're very, very close now to 44,000 subscribers, which is insane. And it keeps us, as far as I'm aware, the biggest Celtic channel on YouTube. So let's keep that going. I love that, you know, number one. And we're gonna fucking stay there, so hit like and subscribe. God, I sound so vain saying that. Hello, good evening everybody. It is genuinely really nice to see you. I see a lot of you piling into the chat. Smell the glove. Hello, it was nice seeing you in the Celtic Exchange quiz last week. That was nice. Nice to see you. Chill, pill, baldy prick. Always love just saying baldy prick, especially because I'm not calling somebody. It's literally your name. Planet Celtic. Hello, hello. Nice to see you. No, can I say hello, hello? That's not right. Just the one hello. It's Friday. We're here, and nothing's really happened. It's been another quiet week. The only thing that's really popped off this week was the up and down of the Dominic Livakovic rumour. One that I quickly thought was nonsense, and then hours after uploading, or not even hours, minutes after uploading, was proven as nonsense. So it's once again been a quiet week for Celtic, but Monday, the fresh week, next week marks the 1st of July. It marks the opening and the official opening of the summer transfer window for every nation around Europe. We can do business and bring players in. I'm hoping starting Monday, that fresh week, and I know I've been saying this for 2 or 3 weeks in a row now, I'm hoping that is maybe going to be the beginning of busy times. We can only hope and pray, of course. But you know, there's work to be done. John Kennedy spoke yesterday in his interview with Sky Sports News, gave us a little bit of insight as to what we should maybe expect over the next couple of weeks at Celtic Football Club. And he was very honest in his assessment. He did note down the fact that we need to improve, that there is key areas that we need to reinforce. And in his own words, he's hoping for that over the next couple of weeks. So I know that it's been a bit of a slow burner throughout the month of June. I know that it's been a bit of a tough one to listen into and waiting for our news, but patience is key. We were told that the club want to sign more established players to improve the squad in this window. If we want to sign these established players, then we're not going to do that in the first few weeks. It's going to take time, it's going to take patience, it's going to take negotiating. And hopefully, if John Kennedy's comments are anything to go by, then he said the plates are spinning and work is getting done behind the scenes. The board, the manager and the higher-ups are all in conversation about getting this work done. So hopefully, by, I don't know, mid-July, we maybe have the proof of that, and maybe we can bear the fruits of success once again towards the end of the season. We got the fixture list, of course. We spoke about that. If you haven't seen my video on the fixture list, I please urge you to go and check out that video yesterday. But today we have got a couple of wee things to talk about because Celtic have been linked with a player. It doesn't exactly fall in line with the established player story that we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, but it doesn't. Let me just reiterate the point before people maybe start bringing that up. I thought we were meant to be signing established players, no 18-year-olds from Sweden. Just because we are going to try and sign established players doesn't mean that we're not going to sign younger players as well. There will be a mixture, I'd imagine, over the course of this summer of the transfer recruitment strategy. They will still want to sign players that could potentially be, you know, big in the future for the club, players that we could sell on in the future for huge profit, as well as signing players that are established and are coming in to improve the here and now of the squad. We can do both, and if there's deals on the table that can be done, Celtic will definitely explore them. And we had our first one today coming up, which could be a possible target for Celtic in this transfer window. We will get on to your guys' comments as always in the Q&A session in the video, but we'll start by talking about this because Celtic have been linked with a player. Pontus Dahbo has been linked to Celtic, who currently plays for Häcken in Sweden. The headlines all came out this morning saying that Pontus Dahbo has been linked to Celtic as Häcken have named their asking price for the highly rated youngster. The 18-year-old midfielder is one of the rising stars in Sweden. The article and the story that was broke very early doors this morning, I think about 9 o'clock, was saying that Celtic are monitoring the highly rated Swedish youngster Pontus Dahbo. According to a report, Brendan Rodgers is mainly targeting proven players to improve his first team this summer, but there may also be space for 1 or 2 project players. Project, and of course the punctuation marks. Dahbo would certainly fall into that category, but has been featured in the Häcken first team, both in the Allsvenskan and the Europa League, though he remained on the bench when they faced Aberdeen. After penning a new deal in February, the midfielder is contracted until 2025, but still could be lured by a big move. And the Swedish outlet FD Report says the Hoops are tracking the youngster, rated as one of the best prospects in his country, along with Tottenham-bound Lucas Bergvall. Häcken have revealed apparently that they will be wanting £3.4 million for the player. So we've not heard an awful lot of rumours with attacking players in this transfer window. It's mostly been defenders and goalkeepers, as we know. We've been linked with every goalkeeper under the sun. We've been linked with Asmir Begovic, with Peter Vindal Jensen, with Dominik Livakovic, with Patrick Pence, with every keeper you could possibly link with a move to Celtic have been linked to a move. We've also heard rumours of a couple of defenders, of course Flavic of Austria being the main one primarily, Chris Mepham of Bournemouth as well. But when it comes to attacking players, we've not really heard much at all in the last few weeks of potential targets for the club. However, Pontus Dahbo has emerged as one early option in this window and certainly would fall under the criteria of project player. I'll come on to the whole project player thing in a minute. If you're wondering anything about the player himself, I obviously, and I'm not going to sit and pretend that I did know until this morning, I had never heard of one Pontus Dahbo. I don't think many people would have heard of Pontus Dahbo before this morning, but currently plays for Häcken, as we just mentioned. And he's made this season so far, I believe, or was it last season? I don't know. They're a Winter League. I think they're a Winter League. 12 appearances in Allsvenskan with 1 assist. His 2 goals coming in the Svenska Cupen, which is the Swedish Cup, of course. He has played 5 times in the Europa League. For an 18-year-old, it is obviously not going to be a hell of a lot of football he's played at senior level. If you look here, there you go. Yeah, this is this season. So far, 12 appearances. And, to be fair, making 20 last season in the Allsvenskan, scoring 4 goals, getting an assist, 45 goals, 6 goals, 2 assists. 18 years old, not bad stats, and purely would be a project signing for the club. I think that you would probably put him in the same criteria, in the same bracket as Odin Thiago Holm, for example, who's obviously a Norwegian counterpart to Pontus Dahbo here. Came in last year at 19, 20 years of age. Hasn't really made a mark in the first team, but obviously there was hopes for him to do something in the future. Will he do something in the future? We don't know, but that, I'm assuming, would be the case for Pontus Dahbo. Seems to be very highly rated in Sweden, as the Football Scotland article was detailing a minute ago, one of the higher rated youngsters in the country. And Celtic definitely have the financial muscle to pull off a move should they decide to do so. My only question, my only concern alongside all of it is that what we're needing to focus on right now? Do we need to go and sign 18-year-old attacking midfielders? I don't necessarily think so. I actually think that, attacking midfielders until Matt O'Reilly officially leaves isn't the biggest priority right now. And even if Matt O'Reilly was to leave, would the answer be an 18-year-old Swede who's only played 45 times at senior level? I'm not writing him off. Probably a hell of a talented kid, and I'm not against him signing for Celtic. Absolutely not. But I think that if we sell Matt O'Reilly, especially for a fee of upwards of £25-30 million, we should be signing someone of a very particular pedigree to come in and take that spot, not Pontus Dahbo. And listen, as I said, not against him signing, and by all accounts from my research of what I've done this afternoon, definitely a player with potential and in the coming years could be very, very good, and could be very, very good for Celtic if they decided to move for him. But right now, I just don't think it is a priority position for the club. So the thing is, and people, when they see these headlines, they obviously jump in straight away to thinking that it means we are signing them, and people don't really read on or whatnot. The reports are saying that Celtic are monitoring the player. This is somebody that I'm sure Celtic have been monitoring for maybe the last few months, and probably will monitor for the coming months. I don't even necessarily think this article and this story that came out this morning from Sweden, I don't think it necessarily suggests that Celtic are going to make the move anytime soon. I think it's just saying that we're monitoring the player, and if anything over the next few months or next couple of windows comes up and he's still available, he's not moved, Celtic might go for him when the talent is proven. So his name is on the list somewhere within the club. Keep an eye out on it. Pontus Dahbo, Swedish youngster. That was the only big rumour that came out from today. I mean, I don't even want to use the word big, but it was the only really real rumour that came out of the works today. Thank you to Ian for the £5 donation. Legend Ian, nice to see you. He said, "Hi Ryan, I hate this time of pre-season. Need to get going in the transfer window. Need some quality in before the friendly start." I couldn't agree more. It is just a very slow and tedious time. I reiterate the point I made earlier in the stream that you kind of need to be patient when it's established players you're looking for. You can't go out and sign established players very early on without maybe that financial backing that the English sides do. You know, they can go and get whoever they want as long as the bid's right. Celtic need to negotiate. Celtic need to do what's best for their own business. Ours will take time, and that little bit of patience has to be there. But I agree, Ian, we have to get moving with the signings. And thank you to Romero Davis. Nice to see you, Romero. $4.99 in the dollars, saying may not be much, but putting towards the transfer budget to get Jota back. Much love from the US. God bless you, sir. I very much appreciate it. Hope things are all good over in America. Hope to get back to America sometime soon. Of course, Celtic are going to be back in America sometime soon. But listen, we'll try our best to get Jota back at some point, shall we? Talking about Portuguese players, before I get on to your comments, before we talk to you guys, the only other story that came out today worth speaking about on tonight's stream in terms of news was in relation to another Portuguese player, not Jota, sadly, but Paulo Bernardo. Of course, we have been kind of following the updates with the Paulo Bernardo situation here on the Ryan 118 channel. As far as the understanding seems to be across all publications, is that the move is currently stalling due to wage demands. It appears that Celtic aren't ready to pull the trigger on what sounds like upwards of a £30,000 per week contract he's getting at Benfica. Yes, it's annoying. Yes, it's very, very frustrating that the Celtic board once again aren't willing to pay for things. But the way that you've got to look at it is, should Celtic be paying over £30,000 a week for a player who's not guaranteed to start every game? Probably not. Not until the wage structure is altered and broken. And should Bernardo be the player to break that wage structure? I'm not entirely sure. But we're talking over £30,000 a week that he's on at Benfica. Celtic aren't going to pay that for him. So as far as we know, the update is the move is stalling over those discussions. However, the update that came out today from the Portuguese publication Recruitment, who we've used as a few times over the years on this channel when it's come to Jota, Paulo Bernardo and other Portuguese stories, Bernardo will start pre-season with Benfica in their camp while the ongoing negotiations go on with Celtic. The negotiations are still going. They have confirmed that. They've also confirmed, though, he will start pre-season with Roger Schmidt's side in Lisbon. So he's in the Benfica camp. He has met up with the team. He's not got a long-term future with the club. They do want to move him on, but he will start pre-season with them despite negotiations still going on. So it's not over yet for Bernardo. If he's willing to bring his wages down, then we are going to be hopefully signing him in this window and hopefully become the first signing. Now, I see people saying that what sources showing that he's on 30k. I can't believe it. Look, listen, I can only go off what's put out there. But one of the main sources that came out said he was on, what was it, something like €23,000 a week pre-tax. 23,000 a week pre-tax, which means Well, let's do some maths here. I think that was the number, right? So let's just go euro to Great British pounds, right? And 23,000 euros equals £19,500, right? And this is pre-tax. So then you've basically got to double that. So 19,500 pre-tax. Now I'm confusing myself. Basically, on a hell of a lot of money, Celtic aren't willing to shell that out. Neither they should be. Because if he was on something like 19 grand, I think that we would probably made a deal by now. It would have made it happen. So the report that came out was saying that Paulo Bernardo was making £23,000 a week. And that was like after his post-tax. Yes, that's the phrase I'm looking for. Yes, sorry, my bad, Danny boy. I don't know why I said pre-tax. Post-tax. Thank you for everybody saying post-tax. So the report that I originally read was saying that he was making £23,000 a week. 23 I'm all over the place now. €23,000 per week post-tax. So yeah, £19,500. And then for the tax and how it works in this country, you've got to basically double that £19,500. So you're talking close to 40 grand. And then his tax gets chopped off. Celtic aren't going to pay that. Not going to happen. The negotiations are still going on. It's why the move hasn't happened. Nobody will know the real figure. The real figure is probably undisclosed. It's not going to be out there in the media. So we don't know the exact number. This is all speculation and it's all noise. You've got to keep that in fact. You never heard from me what he's on. Because I don't know for certain. I can only go off what I read. Because I've never met Paulo Bernardo to ask him how much he's making a week, to be quite honest. But there you go. He will start pre-season with Benfica, etc, etc, etc. Right. So, there we go. We have spoke about Pontus Dahbo. We have spoke about Paulo Bernardo as well. So, yeah, I'm hoping that we get to sign Paulo Bernardo and then move on from there as well. Maybe bring in Ida, get a goalkeeper and get these positions filled in the next few weeks. But obviously, we've just got to be very, very patient, as I've said. Let's get into the Q&A. I want your questions, your answers. Thank you to Ian and Romero who have donated so far, by the way. Absolute legends to the channel. If you do want to donate, you can choose to do so on your own accord. Let's go for it. So Lee saying, we'll start with Lee's comment saying £20,000 a week or 20,000 a week for a player who would be a starter if we sell O'Reilly is 100% worth it. Will Bernardo be a starter? I don't know if there's a guarantee on that. So, it really depends what Brendan Rodgers and the club are thinking at that point. I don't know if we can guarantee that he's going to be starting every game. I mean, for example, Baldy Prick thinks that we can do better than Bernardo. He is a player that seems to be a really big split of opinion amongst the supporters. People either really want to see him sign or they're just not that fussed about seeing him sign. He's really kind of polarising in that sense. I want to see him sign. If the business is right. It seems they've negotiated a fee, which is good. It's just the wages that are the stumbling block at this point. So, and Chilpal saying I'd be looking for better than Bernardo for that money. So, as I said, a few people, making the point that they're not a big fan of him. Mike saying a few people asking here about a recruitment team or lack thereof. Who is our head of recruitment after Celtic signed Minnie Lawwell 6 months ago? That should have been set up a long, long time ago. The only thing that I can hope for, and it's not the case, and I said this in the last live stream, I think I said this in the sense that the only thing that I can hope for is that Celtic quietly appointed someone in that position and they've just not informed anybody. But that's not how Celtic work. We would know by now. There would be a club statement or they would have leaked it to the press. Celtic are big fans of leaking their own news to the press. We see it all the time. They leak stuff to the Sun, to the Record. They like doing that. There's been nothing about a head of recruitment. I absolutely agree, Mike. I think it's shocking we've not had an update on that front. I don't know what the reasoning is behind it. Celtic Football Club is a huge institution and a huge place to go for scouts. This is a real opportunity for you to come and put a stamp on your own career to attract the bigger jobs. Because this is a club where if you find a gem, if you find a Virgil van Dijk, a Victor Wanyama, a Jota, a Kieran Tierney, well, he came through the academy, but you know what I'm saying. If you find one of these players, looks great on your CV. So Celtic's an attractive place to come for recruiters, for scouts. The fact we've not got anybody in there yet, or apparently so, is a bit of a joke. But hopefully we hear something soon. It just makes me think that surely Brendan Rodgers is getting his players in this summer. Surely he's got to be in charge of a lot of the recruitment in this window. Might be a good thing, might be a bad thing. Maybe not as good for the long-term vision of the club, but for Brendan Rodgers to achieve what he wants to do in Europe could be a very good thing, and I think the manager should have more of a say. So that's the only kind of thinking I can throw into it. But keep your questions and comments rolling in. Thank you. We have over 400 viewers, by the way. Absolutely incredible. And if I've not pulled up your question yet or your comment, just keep putting it in, I'll get to it. I need to keep refreshing the chat. You know how it works. Jake, my good mate, Jake, I'll see you soon, brother. The revisionism behind Ida is mental. No option to buy. Sorry, God, I've had to scroll down the chat and it's threw me off reading there. The revisionism behind Ida is mental. No option to buy his bitters, but he's got shipped out because someone signed and got in ahead of him. Norwich absolutely should milk us for every penny, as they probably will. Especially after the new manager's comments, I think that, they will want a lot of money. They will know the position they're in. We have bit ourselves by not having that option to buy in the contract for the loan deal, the loan agreement, but it is what it is. I really want us to sign Ida. I don't know what the cap and the price I would say is, but I want us to sign him. Simple as that. Am I worried? No, not yet. If come back to me on the 15th of July, and then I might be worried if we've not done anything. But no, I'm not worried as of yet. If I was to pinpoint my worry anywhere, it would be our hopes of Europe. I'm not worried at all for the challenge in a league title again, or to win a cup, or to beat Rangers. I'm not worried for any of that at this moment in time. My biggest concern is trying to go and find something in Europe this year, and we're not recruiting like that yet. But come back to me on the 15th of July. Thank you to the OBOTs, the OBOTS, for the £2 donation. I appreciate it. Saying, any news of Yusuf Yazici from Lille to Celtic? I have not heard anything at all about Mr. Yusuf. Is this one of these wind-up names? It doesn't say. No, he is a real player. Turkish, aye. I did think so, but I was just making sure. I have heard absolutely nothing to do with his name in Celtic Football Club. I must be real. Yeah, nothing really. Apparently there were several clubs interested in him in February. I don't see Celtic's name in this list. I don't know who's told you that one, Obots, but I don't think it's anything to do with Celtic. What Scottish players catch your eye that would be good for us in Europe? None really for Europe at this moment. I've said before, the one that I would like to sign is Lennon Miller. Do I think that he's going to come in and make an impact for Celtic in Europe right now? No, because he's 18 years of age, playing for Motherwell. He's not exactly going to come in and set the Champions League alight, but he's somebody who in the future could. As for right now, there is not one Scottish player out there who makes me think that we could do better in Europe, unless it's John McGinn or Andy Robertson, and we're not going to sign them. So nobody really. Don't mean to be that guy, but just genuinely is the case, isn't it? Monacelic's saying, I can't lie, Ryan, it's like January all over again. We have missing players, and Scott Bain a goal against Kilmarnock next month. We will have a keeper in for the first game of the season. I know we will. We will have a keeper in for the first game of the season. But once again, I can understand your reservations, and history repeating itself. We go through this every year. It's almost like Groundhog Day in the sense that every window we get this period of time where we worry. And in last year's window, we didn't sign the quality. So I can understand reservations, but we will have a keeper. Let's see, what else can we get? Let's see. Did I get my hair cut today? No, I got cut on Wednesday, but it's looking like a state right now. It's like an absolute state. Love my optimism. In fact, I do try my best. I've got a wedding tomorrow. I'm at a wedding, and I need to go into optimistic, don't I? Because I can't be down about things at a wedding. What do I think of Ibrox falling apart, Ryan? Love the spelling. Great. No, obviously not. No chance. No, I don't think so. I'm just saying I would like us to sign Miller. I'm not saying it's happening. I think it'd be a really smart sign and a good sign for the future. Bring him in, maybe loan him out. I don't know. Back to Motherwell. But I like him. I like him a lot. Who am I marrying? I'm marrying nobody. I don't think anything else is happening. Like, keep your questions rolling in. We've still got about 5 or so minutes of the Q&A session, but I just went on to Twitter there to see if anything's been happening while we're live, and as anticipated, nothing. It will be another quiet weekend. News doesn't particularly seem to come out on a Friday night, Saturday at all. Probably won't be till Sunday now till we hear anything. That's to be expected, though. It's always like that. Why is De Gea still without a club? I don't know. Ask David. I couldn't tell you. Probably not had an attractive enough offer. He was on £400,000-500,000 a week at Manchester United, and I think that he would rather sit without a club than jump at the first offer that wasn't money that he was happy with. I'm not saying that clubs would have been. I feel like he's been holding out for a move to Saudi and he's just not got it. I don't know, but he's, people who have kept suggesting him with Celtic, never going to happen. It's just not. He will get a move to a club that will offer double the amount Celtic would be willing to offer. There is no doubt about that. And I have no reservations about that whatsoever. I agree. Give Kelly a chance. I would like that. Might go premium. Oh, wow. That's a big commitment, by the way. I was actually thinking, one thing, can I float? Well, let me get through this first and I'll get back to your questions. I had a point I wanted to make. What's my favourite Celtic trip? Rotterdam is up there for me. For me, it would probably be Leipzig, or I've had a few good ones, a few really, really good ones. Leipzig or Leverkusen. Leverkusen was technically Cologne. We stayed in Cologne. We stayed in Cologne. I would say one of those two. But I've been in a few crackers. I really enjoyed them. I really enjoyed Rome. I really enjoyed Valencia/Benidorm. But I really liked Leipzig. I thought Leipzig was great. I did. But I think Cologne was a much better city than Leipzig. But Leipzig was kind of smaller and, more, everywhere you went was a Celtic supporter sort of thing. But aye, Planet Celtic. I would have loved to have went to Rotterdam. I never got the chance to, but thank you for your donation. Thank you for your comment. Just on that note, before we get back to questions, somebody, it was Smell the Glove, was thinking about going premium. Over the last couple of weeks, I never, ever, ever want to put any of my content behind a paywall. I've just always been against it, morally against setting up a fucking paywall. But I have been thinking about maybe doing a premium service or a Patreon service, a channel membership service, where I would do more content and more of these live streams. But I don't know, I hate the idea of asking people for money. I fucking hate it. But I was thinking about doing it to do maybe like 4 or 5 live streams a week, uncut podcasts, other videos that aren't on the main channel, without taking anything away from the main channel, keeping all the free content there, but just doing extra content. But I don't know. It's something for another time. It's nowhere near any time soon. But I was thinking about it. Because it seems to be the way forward everybody's going. I just don't like the idea of asking for money. I don't like it at all. Let's see. A couple more questions, shall we? Let's get a couple more. Ryan, if we do sign the Swedish boy, then he'll be Bernardo's replacement and not O'Reilly. Yeah, probably. I agree, Kevin. He probably would be. I'm assuming that he would be coming to, be a kind of future player for the club. But it's always a risk you end up with someone like Odin Thiago Holm, who's just had no impact in the club whatsoever. Now you're looking at, like, what's he going to do? What's his future at Celtic? He really needs a loan move or something, Thiago Holm. He really does. But aye, sell O'Reilly for a keg of tenants. No thanks. I would like a lot of money for him. Yeah, I'm glad you understand me, Planet Celtic. I never realised it was called Stars on Facebook, though. Would like to see Lawal and Kelly and Frame all get good trials in pre-season. It could be the answer to long-term and homegrown quotas according to the UEFA rules. Yeah, absolutely, especially Kelly and Lawal. I think those two in particular deserve an opportunity moving into next season. I would agree with that. Yeah. And we're about to hit the half. What is this? Something has happened to my PC screen. Go away. Fuck off. I've opened something. Am I still here? Hey, thank God. Yeah, there we go. That's us for this evening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. It has been much appreciated, your presence throughout the live stream tonight. As I said, tomorrow I am at a wedding all day, so there won't be any content tomorrow. But we'll be back on Sunday Maybe rough. I don't know. I've not been rough in a long time. I don't really want to be rough. Kind of fell out with the booze, I'm not as much a fan as it nowadays. So there won't be any videos tomorrow, any content tomorrow, but as I said, back on Sunday. Hopefully we've got some news to talk about on Sunday, but anticipate a quiet weekend for Celtic. I wouldn't imagine much news will come out tonight or tomorrow, so Sunday might be the first time for news. Right, thank you. God bless. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you to everybody who donated this evening as well. It is always much appreciated. But until next time, cheerio. Enjoy your weekend, lads. Ta-da.